Oh, it was a good talk.
We return to talk with Godfrey Leggett, Democratic activist, Nathan Buddy Reynolds, Democratic activist, good to see you, and Jeff Lewis, Republican activist, a very lonely Republican activist on the far right today.
I'm never lonely. I got many people coming to office behind me.
All right, let's pick up with this matter of ISIS. Again, a House passage just this week regarding the training and arming of Syrian rebels. The critics say it's a bad move on the part of the president in that we don't really know who our friends are and who our enemies are in that part of the world.
Yeah, but you have to pick somebody to help, you know.
You have to have some kind of counter to the ISIS threat. There's a new video out, Flames of War, purporting to, and evidently it's a well-financed terrorist army, really, of some 30,000 or more troops. This ISIS.
Well, they're moving across the territory, stealing oil from Syria or whomever they may come across.
Funding their terrorist activity.
I think the president's philosophy is whoever wants to fight them, we're going to help them.
Okay, Good move on the part of the president, in your view?
You mean on arming the Syrians?
To arm the Syrian
that's
rebels?
a bad idea. Do we ever learn a lesson, your side?
It was supposed to be the moderates. It was supposed to be that we arm and train the moderates in the region.
Are you hearkening back?
the Assad
let's
regime.
define moderate over there. I mean, are the moderates that only want to kill just the Jews and not the Americans too, or is it the moderate that just wants to kill everybody? I mean, you tell me who's the moderate over there.
Well, is it in fact the case that Republicans just a couple of weeks ago were saying it's time to put not boots on the ground, but it's time to put arms in there some way or somehow?
But who do you give the arms to is the problem.
Correct.
You know, you give them to the best guy you can find. Well, who is that? You know,
Because there's the
they
argument.
claim that some of these moderate Syrians actually gave some of these people over to the terrorists to be executed.
And
Who do you trust?
the arms we send over there a lot of times fall into the wrong hands.
That's
what
the
happened
regarding
with
Islamic
Iraq.
State. That's the idea right now. Many reports suggest this matter that Islamic State was essentially built on the arming of rebels to fight the Assad regime.
I would like to challenge a little bit of the common terminology that we're using.
Challenge it rapidly.
I don't think that we can really call them terrorists. Okay, I think we need to really classify them as an Islamic army. And that is the difference on
They're
that.
after establishing a caliphate over
Thank you. The objective is not to destroy or make terror happen. Okay, they're not trying to blow up buildings. Okay, they're trying to establish a new country,
a new Ottoman empire, basically.
Essentially yes, but with one that would have essentially the 7th Imam or 12th Imam or whatever coming in to take over the Islamic world, and of course in the process destroy Israel, destroy America, and subjugate the East. Okay, so their objective is much bigger than let's blow up something.
And so far their argument has been that they would be quite happy to come here. And we see increasingly pictures on social media and otherwise that show.
I'm not so sure they're not here.
They could do that anytime they want to. I mean, all the
I still
stuff we put
classify
in.
them as thieves and terrorists.
Well, they are bad guys, okay? No doubt about it.
And they are here.
Oh, I'm sure there's some here. No doubt about it. All this stuff we did after September 11th is a bunch of show. I don't believe any of it's really protecting us. I'm scared really to death that some of these guys are here and are trying to do things to us.
Will we see strikes on American soil by the end of the year, Jeff Lewis?
By the end of the year, you can't predict that sort of thing.
No.
But I mean, let's be honest. What we're after here is to essentially, what is our objective? I think is what we really need to ask ourselves. What are we trying to do in Iraq and northern Syria? To actually curtail the surge over there.
Do what we can to
violence,
stifle them and slow them down.
The only way we're going to do that, and I don't think missile strikes are going to be enough, quite honestly. I think in the end it will take some kind of, if not an all-out army, but maybe a paramilitary operation at some point. I think we're going to end up seeing, not that I want it, but I think we're going to end up seeing troops back there.
It'd be much better if some of the folks over in that country, or over there, the area, Saudi Arabians, whoever, worked with us to do that. But it's going to be a long slog to get them involved.
Nathan Buddy Reynolds, if there are attacks on U.S. soil, would you be opposed to, and do you believe that most Southeast Texans would be opposed to boots on the ground in northern Iraq and western Syria?
Well, I'm not sure that a military solution is what we want, or even if it would really help. My personal opinion is that if we were to more or less strangle them off and cut off their blood supply, cut their money off.
How?
And they'll eventually they'll die off. They can't make bullets. They don't have any. They have no way to make food. They have to steal it.
If they're not funded,
Blow up their supplies, cut off their access
Supply
to selling
lines.
oil.
Look, one of the biggest mistakes we made was declaring an exit date, when the president did that, saying that we're going to be about such and such date, and regardless of the situation, let's get out.
Good points,
And
gentlemen.
had we actually stayed in there and stayed the course to finish out that, we
We
wouldn't be
couldn't,
in
we
this
couldn't get a
situation.
force agreement in Iraq without a
points.
status of forces agreement.
Okay,
It's all
and that's
over.
where leadership comes in on the global stage, Godfrey.
How
This is
can
what
you-
we've been talking about. Leadership is a big deal to the presidency, and obviously the president's been
Obviously,
absent on that
the
score.
president's supposed to work miracles.
More on leadership coming
Supposed to
up
be
in
a
just moments here on Southeast Texas Weekly. 46% of doctors give President Obama's Obamacare initiative a D or an F. More on the story after this break.